I found out I didn't actually sew the loops over themselves folded. Actually, the end piece of the hoops, one is wider than the others. It's probably the same on number 8 as well. It looks fairly wide. So I will have a look at that. I've ground this one down and see if it fits through. Making sure that there are no sharp edges on it. I filed it as well as ground it. And it goes in further. And it looks like it should get through there. There we go. Now for this one. Now for the tricky bit. Here's the front. It goes up over the windshield. Try putting the fourth one in first. So that should be roughly the middle. And it has a hoop, so that looks good. This is where it gets tricky because I have to take some material off. Just go for the middle and put a screw through it. Cut it off later. 4 inches there. Just to the edge. That one's to the edge. Okay. So I'll get some collection of screws to put this in. Okay, wash my hands again. Can't be too careful, you know. Got my 12 screws, got the awl, and there's the back end, so I don't want that. I want it this way. I think I might just start from the front. I was thinking from the middle, but then it's all going to hang down, and that's not going to be very much fun. Roughly central, more that way. Hoop that doesn't have any screws in it first. Trying to hook it up on top here where it belongs. Next one. Wash my hands, but my pants are sure dirty. That has to come through both because that gets covered by molding. So, first things first. Notice there are multiple holes to choose from. You have to adjust things. So I'm going to try using the ones over there to start with. Yeah, some adjustment to do up there for sure. Let's get it up there first, see what happens. This is another hoop without screws. It doesn't seem to want to go up there very well. That's about even. 4 holes to choose from here. Fortunately, it's obvious which one had the screw. What I found out so far is that it's important to try and get it as tight as possible coming down. I've still got some more to do there. This side, start with one side and make it as straight as possible. So I've got some adjustment to do here. It's a bit twisted, you can see. We'll cut the hole for the light when I'm done. One thing I do have to do though is this wire is pushing down, so I'm going to have to pull down a couple of hoops and attach that so it doesn't sag. And other than that, it's a case of straightening it, tightening it, and apparently you can shrink it with a steamer, so that's what I'm hoping I can finish off with. But I'm not short of material anywhere, which is good. I'd rather be able to cut it off later than have to worry about redoing it. I'm going to retrace my steps slightly. See, these hoop retainers have to be cut back a bit so that the hoop is, I can screw the hoop in without having the cloth in the way, and then the cloth can come down far enough and get tacked into these strips here, because the window trim actually just comes up to here. So I don't have a whole lot to play with on this side. Of course I can't adjust that, but I do have enough. So if I just mark things the way it is, allowing some room for straightening out some of the wrinkles, then that should work. So I've taken a grease pencil, I marked 1/4 inch above the screws, and now I'll work forward doing the same thing, and then I'll cut those hoop retainers, and then I can mark exactly where the light is and retain this wire that's dropping down here, and that should be good to go. Here's the preliminary. Lots of little wrinkles, but it can be stretched out and pulled down the sides and tacked, and that does help. So I'll have some adjusting to do. The hoops are not finally screwed in, but it's a lot easier cutting back the retainers so that you can get at the actual screws, like up in here. Much nicer. So the first thing I'm going to do is adjust the headliner for straightness, get rid of the wrinkles. Then I will screw in the hoops, adjusting the distance between to try and get the proper amount of sag in the headliner, since it is supposed to be naturally sagged between the hoops. And then I will pull it across to try and give it the right tension on the sides, and then nail it up into the strips on the side. I may have to move the whole headliner over a bit on the hoops, because I have barely enough here and I have more than enough here. So I will look after that. Starting to look like it has potential. It's fairly tight up in the top. I have to keep washing my hands, picking up stuff that's dirty. But what I've done is gone through and I've cut the hoops back, or the retainers, the loops on the actual headliner that the hoops go through, and I've moved it up roughly 1/8 of an inch on each one. You can see the gap there. And that helps to give the dip. So when I pull it tight and nail it, we actually get a dip in the headliner, and it looks much classier that way. We've also stretched it across where the wire hoops are that don't have actually any screw holding them, like these ones. There's 2 of those. I've stretched that across, put them up on the tags that are up top that they hook onto, and I've then tapped them back to hold it up, trying to make sure that it only clips the actual cloth loop, not the headliner. And now I will stretch it out and nail a few places. So I've more or less completed 2 of the sections that run across. Got them stretched out fairly well. Here I think the trim will straighten a lot of that out. Have to stretch in the middle and then try and even things out. I have a little bit more adjusting to do over here, where there's a cardboard strip that the headliner mounts into. Here it's about 1/8 of an inch, so I'm using 1/4 inch staples, which I then hammer and bend over. And the other parts here, it's 1/2 inch thick, so I use these nails, the carpet tack, very sharp point, and they tend to bend over when they hit the steel, further helping to hook. So I'm hoping that will work. Here they are here. Get a focus. Carpet tacks. About 1/2 inch long. 5/8 rather, sorry. So I'll keep going. Right now it looks like it has great potential. Step by step, little adjustments here and there. I think I'm still going to have to steam it though. It's got a few wrinkles here and there. At the back, on this car there's a 1/2 inch layer of cardboard that runs in a strip, as you can see on this side. I use the carpet tacks in there and work it slowly back, stretching it all the way up, and then stapling around the window. It's a 1/8 inch strip there. As you can see, there are some further adjustments to be done, but basically it's looking pretty good. I'm going to try steaming it first before I get any more particular about little wrinkles here and there. See if I can get rid of them. So I have to do some of the trim around the doors and so on. I got to sort out the weather stripping and see how much gets covered by what. Just continue progressing. I've received some disappointing news. Where the headliner attaches to the cardboard strips that was in the body, actually the windlace has to tuck up underneath here, and the finish is going to be that this is going to be visible. When I took it apart, it had a second strip of windlace up here. I think that was somebody's idea of fixing a previous problem. So I'm pretty sure 2 windlace strips is not factory. I've never seen another one. Any pictures I can find of a 47 Cadillac do not have 2 windlace strips. So I don't know what that's going to do to the fabric. I may have to make a custom strip to sort of tie that in and make it look like it's finished properly. But that is yet to come. To remove the tacks that were in the headliner, I used this electronics side cutter. It has a very flat side and flat cutter, allowing me to get underneath the heads of the tacks without damaging the cloth, the headliner. That worked better than a standard side cutter, which is more beveled. See, windlace episode coming up for the final product, including the effect of the steaming, and I did end up making a second windlace that was smaller in order to cover the staples, but I am happy with the final product. Hopefully that is helpful. If you found this episode interesting, helpful, scornful, or you just want to help out, don't forget to or